Our next guests are working to make kids' experiences on social media safer, something parents are looking for all the time. Joining us right now with more on this is Jeffrey Katzenberg. He's longtime Hollywood executive and founding partner of WonderCo. Also, Hari Ravichandran, who is the founder and CEO of Aura. That's a suite of AI-powered tools that are aimed at protecting people online. And Jeffrey, we were just talking about this. 9 months ago, you were here. You did say that this was going to be a big focus, something that you were working on. Here you are.
Yeah. Well, so Aura, which Hari, we started together 6 years ago, first focus on security. How do you make all your financial information? So consumer cybersecurity. Hari, through a personal experience that he'll tell you about, also with a 13-year-old, realized that safety of our children today is truly imperiled. It's kind of shocking. And I'll share with you some statistics about it. But, I spent a lifetime at DreamWorks and Disney in the business of being a safe place for families. Moms, dads, and kids, making content that was great for them. Today, and then I think about, for our kids, when my kids were growing up, I cared about three things. Where are they? Who are they with? And what are they doing? Today, they're sitting on their device across from you at the kitchen table, and you actually cannot answer those three questions. And so to set out and to create something that gave parents a set of tools that could give them insights and observations without becoming, intrusive and spying on them is what the mission was. And I really should pass to Hari because this is his baby.
I mean, that's the thing that's so... I don't want to spy on my kids. My mom always gave me privacy, and that was great. But our kids are faced with so many more potential danger spots than we were when I was that age. Hari, what happened? You're a father.
I am.
And you've got kids, too. You decided... I'm going to build it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, look, I have 4 kids. We have a couple that are going through the adolescent phase. And one of them was struggling with some mental health issues about 2 years ago, some negative coping strategies, some generally sort of behavior that's unfortunately much more prevalent now than it used to be, say, 10 years ago.
Are you talking cyberbullying?
No, I think it was more just coping with anxiety, depression, and how do you do that type of activities. And when she was starting to kind of recover and do better, I was looking around going, well, she always said she's doing really well. Is she actually doing really well or not? And so what we found is, we never used to look at her phone. Actually, it was like very, very privacy oriented. But as we were going through some of these struggles, we said, okay, we need to actually worry about safety as much as privacy. So as we looked through it, there's a lot more footprint available on these devices. And so we were looking around saying, okay, can we find a product that can actually take a lot of this information and as a parent, give me something that reassures me that my kid is fine.
So how does it work? If you're not actually reading the texts that are coming in, if you're not reading like the Snapchat messages or any of those other things?
So you don't read it as a parent, but the machinery does. So what we do on the back end is we collect a lot of that data, a lot of the information, run it through a bunch of machine learning models on the back end. We've now got a full clinical office, so the psychiatrists and the clinicians actually train the models. So it takes a lot of the real world stuff, comes up with the insights. But as a parent, you only see the insights, so you don't see any of the raw text, so the kid's privacy is protected.
But if they are talking in code, like you now see on X and other places, where they just don't spell the curse words out the right way.
Yeah, so models are good at that now, so you can actually train them with age by age, like 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, what kind of images do they use, like what are things that are acronyms. And they're continuously getting trained, so as kids are sort of, coming up with new stuff to talk about and new ways to talk about it.
I need that list.
Yes.
I do that. I do that. I spell, they know what I'm saying, but I don't.
So, but here's another way, which is when you give a 16-year-old a car, you don't say, all right, have at it, take it out into the world, do whatever you want. Yeah. You actually start with a set of restrictions that are appropriate for their knowledge and abilities and all that. And as they grow, you actually give them more and more latitude. And this does that. So what you want for your 13-year-old is quite different from what you would want for a 16 or a 17-year-old.
Sure. Yeah.
So your ability to have to choose, I want to restrict the amount of time and hours that somebody is on various different sites. I want to know suddenly if my kids are on Discord and they're talking to somebody who I've never heard of before.
Correct.
In this.
Look, my solution to this point with a 13-year-old has just been, you're not going to be doing any multiplayer games where they can get in. You're not going to be on any of the social media sites. You can have a phone so you can text chat with your friends and who I know.
As they get older, they find ways around it is the problem, you know. And so it's always a cat and mouse game, but...
and I'm not the tech-savvy one.
You don't need to be, and that is the beauty of this new product is it talks to you in kitchen table English. And as I said, it's about giving you insights to what they're doing.
So what does it tell me? Like, what's a report that comes back?
Yeah, so I think the core of the product is a behavioral change identification system. So it takes a baseline of what your kid's usual behaviors are, looks at it across multiple dimensions, looks at it across sleep, what kind of apps are they using, what's their mood and sentiment as they're using these apps. So it takes these things and figures out a composite. And if it figures out there are changes that are happening to this particular child's behavior, it can identify those.
Spending a lot more time on something?
Could be anything from that to, like, say, they're more stressed out about a test. Or
How do they know?
Because we get a lot of their keystroke information, even though we purge it. As soon as we get it, we train the models with the things that the kids are typing, using apps, you know, how long is it open for. Even speed of keystrokes, by the way, is another good indicator for what they're feeling or what their mood is. So it takes all these things and it figures out, okay, well, this is what the kid usually...
So it's basically an alert system.
It's an insight system is the way we think about it versus we don't want to spy, but what we want to do is, you know, learn from the things that the child is doing and give parents some insights that can help them understand, you know, what's actually going on. Like in my case, you know, that was very helpful. I use the product every day now, and my kids have been beta testing it, so it's been a good addition.
So Becky, let me share with you some stats that really are they're shocking when you hear this. The magnitude of this problem really takes your breath away when you understand we have an entire generation of children who are literally lost. So today, 20% of adolescents report low self-esteem. 52% have experienced or are experiencing an eating disorder. 70% of teens say anxiety and depression is a major problem among their peers. And 1 in 3 contemplate suicide.
Wow.
1 in 3. And this is, you know, there are many great, wonderful things that we can say about internet and social media and connectivity and knowledge and friendships and all of that. That's great. This is the dark side of it. And up until now, there was nothing that a parent could do to actually manage and help their children.
It does not
that.
seem